Are you that curious to know what it feels like to work with critical patients? Follow me on this night shift and I'm going to be showing you how my night shift went along. So I just got reports on all 4 of my patients. I had the same patients as last night. And so I'll just go back in there and read notes on my patients and just know if there's any changes, if there's any updates, if there's anything invasive that I have to do, just basically preparing myself for the night. And just knowing what medications I'll be giving tonight. And basically just what to look out for. So I'll be going back out there, to get my day started. So after going through all the notes of my 4 patients, I realized that one of my patients whom I had the previous night was actually a DNR, and when I came on to this shift, the patient had been made a comfort care. And so when patients are on comfort care, typically they don't get any medication that is meant to be therapeutic. More so, they get medications that is meant to keep them comfortable and to keep them less anxious. We are talking about morphine to reduce any pain, and we are talking about Ativan to make them less anxious. So this patient, who was previously a DNR, and the family had decided to make them comfort care together with the patient, still had like their heparin drip running and like night medication. So I had to reach out to the night doctor to see what the plan was, or if they could rectify like, hey, why the patient was still scheduled to get all night medications. So I had to call the night doctor, and the night doctor was like, okay, he needs to read the notes of the patient to see why the patient still has all their medications scheduled. So whilst I was reaching out to the night doctor, I realized that the day doctor or the attending physician was still online, or he was still available. So I reached out to the attending physician and through a text, and I added the night doctor together, so it was a 3-way conversation so that we all could get on the same page with regards to the care of the patient moving forward. So it turned out that the attending physician for the day shift to rectify the issue by cancelling all the patient's scheduled medication. So moving forward from the beginning of my shift, this patient was now officially comfort care, and the only thing the patient could get was either Ativan and morphine, or Ativan or morphine. So after that was clarified, I had to still continue reading the notes of all my other patients and make sure that everything for this patient who had been switched to comfort care was actually in the right standing order that it should be for the patient. So after the attending physician for the day shift had clarified the issue with regards to the patient's scheduled medication, he actually went ahead and cancelled all medications and left morphine and Ativan. I had to go now to the patient's room and stop every medication that the patient was currently receiving. This patient was currently getting continuous fluids, normal saline, and the patient was on a heparin drip. So when I went into the room to stop the heparin drip, the family was concerned that, hey, the patient had blood clots and I was turning off the heparin drip. It was then that I realized that the family and patient did not fully understand what it meant for the patient to go on comfort care. Comfort care meant that irregardless of whatever the patient had, whatever medical condition the patient had, we were no longer treating the patient. At this point, we're just trying to keep the patient comfortable. So I had to call the night doctor again and explain the situation to him. At this point, it was out of my hands to go and explain things to the patient and the family to say, hey, this is what comfort care entails and this is what DNR entails. So the night doctor at this point had to come to the patient's room and explain to the family and the patient what comfort care meant. So the doctor came to the patient's room and explained to the family, and moving forward they were okay with the patient staying comfort care, in agreement with the patient. So this back and forth was all about me clarifying the patient's code status so that I know for sure what I had to deal with and what I had to prioritize as a care for the patient. So guys, I'm here now in the medication room to pull out my meds. I'm about to get my medications out to my patients. I had a couple of calls and calling the doctor just to figure out like the patient's medication, especially for a patient that had to, had been switched to comfort care. Usually patients on comfort care do not need like invasive medications, and so we had to figure out like, hey, do you want us to stop all these medications and just stick to just morphine and Ativan for now? So that was why I was on the phone, and we got that sorted out. So I'm about to start pulling out my meds for my patients. After passing out all medications to all 4 of my patients and doing my assessment in the room, it was now time for me to sit and do my shift assessment, which is actually the first assessment documentation for the shift. I want to take this time to welcome all my new subscribers. Hi, hello, welcome to the Bubbly family. I hope you're actually taking down notes and you're jotting down, because there's a lot you have to learn from the step-down unit. As I keep documenting for each patient, there's going to be some certain things, like I've said in my previous video, that you have to keep going back and forth just to check and make sure that you're documenting the right thing. So in as much as you're documenting, sometimes some things will pop up that you will have to go and check again in the patient, and then you will have to come back, read the doctor's notes, the physical therapist notes, and the specialists that have been attending to this patient, to see like, hey, why was this that was assessed on this patient, if it has been addressed or if they plan to address it in the future. So whilst you're documenting, it still suffices for you to still read notes to get some more clarifications, and also to get abreast with what the plan is moving forward with regards to the care of the patients. Remember that this is the step-down ICU unit. And so most of the patients, if not all, will have in-depth documentation with regards to their cardiac, their respiratory, their neuro, their pain, their tubes, their IV, their safety, their diet, if they're having any edema, their skin, how they ambulate, their oxygen, their labs, their vital signs, respiratory. You would also go through their pain assessment, their medical surgical history, their blood sugars if they are diabetic. You would also go through their allergies and everything that pertains to this patient, as well as the plan moving forward for every patient that you have for this shift. There is usually a lot that entails the documentation of at least just one patient, which is the reason why we get only 4 patients on this unit, because these patients are critical, and so you have to be monitoring their vital signs, you have to be monitoring any abrupt changes in terms of their oxygen, maybe their blood pressures, maybe their heart rate, their blood sugars, their Foley output, their ostomy output, their wound vacs, maybe any new pain, maybe chest pain or anything of that sort, and you're actively relaying it to the night doctor, which is the reason why this is a critical floor. And so you have to make sure that every time you come for your shift, you're actually putting on your critical thinking cap. I can tell you that this is a unit that you would always have to reason things out, use your nursing judgment before you reach out to the doctor, because they assume or they expect you to be of a certain level of critical thinking when it comes to assessing and reaching out for a certain intervention for your patients. Honestly, in as much as I had 4 patients, this night felt like I had just 1 patient, because my patient who was made comfort care
was needing his Ativan and morphine more often than I anticipated. I kept going into the patient's room. You have to have a conversation with the family, explaining what you're doing to the patient. They are in agreement that, okay, you're actually helping their family member, and then you have to think of your other patients. So honestly, on this night, I didn't have so much to film because I kept taking care of this patient who was comfort care, who finally expired by the early hours of my shift. And so we had to give the family time to come to terms with what had happened, and then we had to prepare to go clean the body. We had to bag the body and then take it down to the morgue, and it was kind of like time consuming, which is the reason why I didn't, or I couldn't film so many other things that I had to do on this night shift. But that notwithstanding, I had other patients that I had to also prioritize. Like you saw, I had to call the respiratory therapist to come and put one of my patients on their BiPAP, because the patient was hypercapnic or had increased carbon dioxide in the blood, which was actually trending down. And so at this point, the patient was only scheduled the BiPAP for the night shift. It was honestly a very busy and tedious night, especially with this comfort care patient. I wouldn't lie to you guys, but I couldn't neglect my other patients. And so I made sure that everyone had their medications on time, everyone was attended to, everyone's vital signs was being monitored, everyone was comfortable, everyone was safe, and everyone was fine for the night shift. So every new nurse wanting to work on a critical care patient unit, you have to get comfortable very, very quickly in preparing patients who have expired. I love my night shift because there are chill moments when we don't have to worry about taking the patients for CT, for MRI, for x-rays, for certain procedures. If at all the patients will be needing any procedures, most of the times these things will be happening at the bedside, or for the very few ones, yes, we take the patients downstairs. The portable monitor, because remember that these are critical patients and we still have to continue monitoring their vital signs and knowing when things are changing so that we know when to intervene at the right time and save our patients. Let me know in the comment section below, are you for team day shift or are you for team night shift? I have worked day shift and night shift, and I will honestly tell you that I am team night shift. I'll be reading all your comments. I love when my night shift is so chill, especially when all patients have gone to sleep, which is the reason why I think I might stay night shift forever or for a very long time. If you did not know, I was a previous day shift nurse and I switched to night shift because I wanted to try it out, and I think that I am loving it over day shift. Because day shift is very, very tedious with regards to the family, the procedures, and everything that happens during day shift. And at night, most of the times they reschedule any procedures for day shift so that the patients are having their adequate rest. I would love to know where everyone is watching from, what country, what state, what nationality you are, so we can mix and I can make new friends on my channel. At this time, I was done giving my morning medications. That was me giving my heparin and my Lasix to one of my other patients. And yeah, it was time for me to chit chat. I was actually speaking to the phlebotomist who was here to draw morning labs for all patients on the unit. And typically at this time, usually around 4-5 p.m, this is when we are chill, we start chit chatting, we have caught up on all our documentation, we are kind of like almost ready, almost getting there in terms of getting ready for the day shift nurses to come. We have updated our reports. We make sure that we have updated all the I's and O's. Vital signs have been validated. Medications have all been given. You're checking your vital signs to make sure that you do not miss anything. You're checking your labs to make sure that if anything needed any intervention, you are actively intervening or you're actively reaching out to the doctor so that the appropriate measures can be taken to fix the issue. I want you guys to let me know what new things you are learning from my videos, what other things you want me to let you know about the step down unit, because I have a lot that I really want to tell you guys, but without you guys telling me, I won't be able to address the burning questions that you guys have. So let me know in the comment section below what you want me to address in my next videos, my upcoming videos. I always address them for you guys. I am so grateful to all my new subscribers. I am so grateful for you all coming and flooding my channel, and it will mean the world to me if you can share, like and subscribe to these videos and to my channel. And let's join the bubbly family. Let us spread the word about the critical unit, which is the step down ICU, the PCU, or the IMU unit. I'll see you guys in my next one. Thanks for staying right up to the end of this video. I love you all. Please stay tuned for more videos coming up in the subsequent weeks, days and months ahead. Take care guys. I love you. Bye.